That night, no one expected him to survive. The lions were hungry, the pit was deep, and no one had ever escaped from it. It was a sentence of death. But the story of how Daniel got there is just as powerful as what happened inside. Daniel was not an ordinary man. He had lived through kingdoms rising and falling. He had served under different kings, and yet he remained the same, faithful, consistent, unshaken. Because of his wisdom and integrity, he stood above all the other leaders in the kingdom, and the king trusted him more than anyone else. But that trust came with a price, because the more Daniel was honored, the more others began to hate him. They watched him, they studied him, they searched for something, anything that could be used against him, but they found nothing. No corruption, no lies, no weakness. Daniel was different, and that frustrated them even more, until they realized something. There was only one way to trap him: his faith. They knew Daniel would never stop praying to his God, so they created a plan, a law. For 30 days, no one could pray to any god or any man except the king, and anyone who disobeyed would be thrown into the lion's den. It was clever. Because they knew exactly what Daniel would do, the king, not realizing the trap, signed the decree. It became law, unchangeable, and with that, Daniel's fate was sealed. When Daniel heard about the law, he didn't panic, he didn't run, he didn't hide. Instead, he did what he had always done. He went to his house, opened his window, and prayed, just like before. Not once, not twice, but 3 times that day. He knew the consequences. He knew they were watching, but his faith was stronger than his fear, and they saw it. They rushed to the king. "Daniel has broken your law." The king's heart sank. He realized what had happened. He had been tricked. All day long, he tried to find a way to save him, but the law could not be changed, even by the king himself. And as the sun began to set, there was no way out. Daniel had to be punished. He was taken to the den, a deep pit carved into the ground. Inside, lions, powerful, hungry, restless, the kind of place no one survived. The king looked at Daniel with sorrow in his eyes and said, "May your God rescue you." And then Daniel was lowered into the darkness. The stone was rolled over the entrance, sealed. There was no escape. That night, the king could not sleep. He refused food, he refused music. Nothing could distract him, because he knew what should have happened. Meanwhile, inside the den, it was completely dark. The air was heavy. The sound of breathing echoed in the silence. The lions were there, close, watching, waiting. But something was different. They did not attack. They did not move, because that night, God sent an angel. A presence filled that place, not of fear, but of power. The lions' mouths were shut, their strength held back, and Daniel was not alone. Hours passed, the night stretched on, but nothing happened. No attack, no struggle, only silence and protection. Then, morning came. The first light of day touched the ground, and the king ran to the den. He didn't walk, he ran. With fear in his voice, he called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God saved you?" For a moment, there was silence, and then a voice answered, "My God sent his angel, and I am unharmed." The king couldn't believe it. The stone was removed, and Daniel was lifted out of the den, alive, not a single wound, not a single scratch, because he trusted God. And that trust changed everything. That day, everyone saw it, not just a miracle, but the power of faith, because the lions were real. The danger was real. The fear was real. But God was greater than all of it. And maybe today, the lions look different. Fear, problems, situations that seem impossible, moments where it feels like there's no way out. But the question is still the same. When you're surrounded, when everything is against you, will you trust God like Daniel did?